moment. I'm just going to get you guys to come a little closer to me. You know what I'm saying? So that we can, the gang's all here. Welcome, welcome. We are having a Sunday moment. I'm so grateful. I always let everyone know how grateful I am when you guys join me on a Sunday. Sundays are very sacred days. They are days of resetting and regrouping, a time of reflection, a time of coming together. So I know it is also a time of rituals. And for those that are religious, it's spiritual times or religious times. And you have the things that you normally do, you know what I'm saying, on a Sunday. So anytime you take time out of your Sunday, those that are watching in real time, to come and have a Sunday moment with me, have extra gratitude. I am in gratitude all the time for all of my moment exchangers, for all the love and messages, for all of the chatting, for those that view me not always in real time but get their moment when they can. I'm never mad at that. Those that are, in the car, on the way to work, when they're doing chores, helping the children with their homework, whatever. Get your moment. I'm so happy to be happy and honored and humbled to be a part of your self-care routine. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am on a much needed mommy runaway. So you will see that, I'm in a different place, but my space, you know what I'm saying? My space is good. So I'm so excited to have a moment today with you all. And just really, when you get by yourself and you just like get into your thoughts, it's like a really beautiful thing. So I really would like to get into what we're getting into. We are in a reflection series. We're actually coming up on the last couple of weeks of a real reflection series. I think we got about between 4 and 5 weeks left in our reflection series before we move on to meiotic moments, where we'll be going through the principles and the laws of Maya. I'm so excited about that. But we are still in a reflection series. We are looking back at it. We are Sankofing during our journey in order to move forward in more intentional, healing, divine, uplifted, high vibrational ways. You know what I'm saying? Today's healing session is entitled Reflect on Your Breath or Reflect on Your Breathing. And I cannot wait to get into it because I'm all about that healing thing. I'm all about that elevating, all about getting better. And I feel like when it comes to healing, we so often overcomplicate healing and development. Healing is really a natural thing, right? We're designed to heal our bodies, our minds, our spirits. Self-preservation, right, is now that can also go in the opposite direction when it goes into kind of things like denial and coping mechanisms and defense mechanisms, because we are wired to survive. That's what I mean when I say healing is natural. Y'all will see I have this shea butter on today, and it has like this scrub, these little beads on it, and now these beads are everywhere all over me. So forgive me for being ADHD and, well, I'm not going to say that. There are some people that actually are battling with certain clinical diagnoses. So I will say, forgive me for being distracted, for being an aqua girl all over the place, and picking some of these things off me, okay? But like I was saying, we are wired to survive. And that is what I mean by healing is more natural than we give it credit for. So I cannot wait. But before I get into the meat and bones of our moment today, I have a couple of shout outs. Yesterday was my girl Isoke's birthday. Many blessings, Isoke. Camille's birthday was yesterday. Pastor Lawrence's birthday was yesterday. Yesterday was popping. Happy birthday, Live Long. His birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Sophisticated Aura. Rest in peace and power. Her birthday was yesterday. Listen, April 27th is jumping, okay? If you're in real time. April 27th of 2024. Happy birthday to all of these. And then my nephew Edgar had a birthday party that I had to miss because I am on my runaway. But I missed Edgar's birthday party, and I love you. I'm so proud of you. Happy birthday, Eggs. Happy 16. Come on, guys. Come on, Tauruses. Come through. And look, it only gets more hype because I have an affinity, actually, for Tauruses. I seem to be very connected to them. My besties are Tauruses. Listen, business tour, it's Taurus gang everywhere, and I so happen to connect with them. So it's gonna be a lot of birthday shout outs this May because I know a lot of y'all, and I love a lot of y'all. So happy birthday, much love, peace and blessings, power to you all. Make the year count. You know what I'm saying? Make it count. All right, let's get into our healing session. Reflect on the breath. So this is so important to me because when we go through healing, for those who have ever had a Heck and Hands is my massage business, but it's also spiritual affirmation prayer all together. It's really a healing session within itself. So if anyone who's ever had a Heck and Hand session with me, I I always discuss before the service starts trappers and releasers. And trappers are biological reactions we have to trauma, pain, fear, low vibration. And when we get afraid, like you take a deep breath in, if when we get afraid, when we get angry, if you notice that when you're mad, your breath gets shorter, right? Trappers are when we have a biological reaction or a physical reaction, or yes, a reaction to a low vibration and it keeps it inside of us. That is called a trapper. Again, a gasp, a jump, holding back tears, holding back words. And women predominantly are really have a great deal of trappers. I have a plethora of clients when I do massage healing sessions, and men normally are not so hard to release, right? But women, I found in my experiences, and I've been doing it for a long time, a good 10 years or more. Whew, time is moving. I've found that men who've been incarcerated, post-incarcerated men, and moms, women specifically, have the most trappers, right? They have the most energy trapped inside of their bodies. This has to do with healing. This has to do with the ability to release. So the trappers and releasers. So releasers are things that help us to release tension, help us to release stress, help us to release trauma and negative experiences and negative vibration. And those come out as like anytime we take a sigh of relief, things that I know this is rated PG, but reaching that spot. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I want to say that word because YouTube is extra these days, but a release. You know what I'm saying? Boom, fireworks. That is a releaser. Crying is a releaser. Laughing is a releaser. Any type of physical or biological reaction that helps you to actually express and exude, or yeah, we'll say express anything that's stuck inside of your body. So we have trappers and releasers, and I use them during my healing sessions because most masseuse or massage therapists or healing specialists, they work with the tissue and the muscle. And it's not that I don't have a physical component, but what I primarily do is move energy around in your body is what my practice does. And I use trappers and releasers to do that. I'm saying all of that to say, to really emphasize what we're getting into today, which is the importance of your breathing as it pertains to your healing, as it pertains to your elevation. Breathing is a major releaser. Breathing is a major stabilizer. Breathing is a natural component of your life. Breathing is a natural mechanism, that's what I'll say. A natural mechanism that was placed inside of you at creation in order to process, flow, live, and thrive. Breathing equals thriving. Okay? And we know that because anytime we want to know if someone is deceased, or we want to know the severity of a situation where someone may be unconscious, the first thing they ask, are they breathing? This is how we know if someone is surviving. This is how we know if someone is thriving, if someone is living. We are going to the significance and the power of breathing. Also, as a doula, I know y'all be like, girl, how many things do you do? I do a lot, okay? I do a lot. I am your typical aqua girl. I am a typical Aquarius, okay? I can't do too much. My hand is in everything. As a doula, breathing literally is how we bring a baby down and out. I know we say we push, and I know we say that we work, because we do those things, But breathing is really the key behind all of it. And it is because breathing is a sustainer. It keeps things going. It keeps things moving. It is a stabilizer. Breathing is a stabilizer. You are okay if you can breathe. Okay? As a doula, I have seen the magic of breathing as a mom as someone who has birthed 5 human beings. I experienced the miracle of breathing as someone who is a major fan and advocate of yoga, someone who is a major fan and advocate of cardio and workout. Listen, breathing gets you through it. So I want us, when we are reflecting on our traumas and our pains, when we're going through healing, when we're going back through the things that are trapped inside of us, the traumas that we have inside, I, yes, want you to write. I, yes, want you to work out, meditate, yoga, Pilates. I, yes, want you to walk and express. I want you to have dialogue. I want you to have all the things that get things out of you. But most importantly, I want you to breathe. I want you to breathe through your experiences in order to elevate you to the state of presence. I want you to breathe through your experiences in a way to elevate you to a place of becoming, a place of survival. Remember, if you are breathing, you are surviving. It is a stabilizer. Now, when I say two cases. I have my oldest daughter. Shout out to Lovely Brown. Love my girl. My oldest daughter is 15 years old. We've had some experiences. Y'all listen. Teenage life. Okay. Hence my mommy run away. I've run away. I've run away. Um, my 15-year-old, we've had a number of things. She recently had like an outpatient procedure that some teenagers get. I ain't gonna put her business out there because she don't like that. That some teenagers did. She recently had an outpatient procedure to, make sure she's great. And it was a very painful experience for her. In getting that experience together, I was there and I coached her through breathing. And I was able to see, just like when I help beautiful women bring in beautiful babies. Shout out to PL3. I think this is his second week. Beautiful women bring in beautiful babies. Breathing is like the thing, okay? It's the thing that's getting them through. It's the stabilizer. Breathing is a sign that you're alive and you're fine. Breathing is a sign that you're alive and you're fine. Breathing is a sign that you're alive and you're fine. Hey, that's a Harmony original. That's my doula jingle, okay? Breathing is a sign that you're alive and you're fine. And when my daughter was having this procedure done, I was like, I don't care how painful it gets. Breathe. The more pain, the more breath. The more air you give the situation, air signs, gang, gang. The more air you give the situation, the more clarity you give the situation, the more joy you give the situation. Ashe, we love you too, boop. The more air you give the situation. Now, the other thing, what was it? Yes, last week? Last week, my 15-year-old also got a nose piercing. She got this tiny little nose piercing in her nose. Super cute. You cute, girl. And she like to die, okay? My daughter's, she does not do well with pain. She's not with it. It's going to be something for me to do for her one day. Well, really, my goal is to actually deliver my daughter's babies, both of them, all their babies. So that's what we're working towards. But it's gonna be something when that day comes because she don't like to process pain. But here's the thing I told her. I don't care how afraid you are. And not that I don't care. No matter how, that's what I'll say. No matter how afraid you are, no matter how worried you are about what's going to happen because you're anticipating, I need you to know that your breath is going to free you from whatever you get in. Follow me, guys, because it's going where we're going today. I need you to know that your breath is what's going to get you through what you're about to go through. Do not abandon it. Do not neglect it. Do not forget about it. Do not undervalue the stabilizing abilities of breathing. So, they put the little needle in her nose and get ready to clamp it, and she, first thing, before he even pushes it, she held her breath. Guys, we do that. We do that with trauma. We've done it so many times when it comes to trauma and fear and pain. I'm talking about someone putting their hands on you, someone violating you or touching you inappropriately, somebody stealing or taking something from you, being diagnosed or getting negative or bad news. The first thing you do in a lot of ways is you stop breathing. Now, many people are like, Mama Harmony, how can I stop breathing if I'm still alive? No, there are phases and levels to breathing. There is survival breathing, and there is thriving breathing. And survival breathing means that, hey, nothing has physically taken the air out of me, meaning like there is not a bullet wound that has removed oxygen from my blood, or I have not had a major impact that is restricting oxygen getting to where it needs to get to for my lungs and my body to function. That is survival breathing. There has been nothing to directly physically impede my breathing. However, I am not consciously in a space of breathing. Okay? And therefore, I am in survival breathing versus thriving breathing. Thriving breathing has an amazing effect on what it is we are able to do. Okay, so let's get into it, okay? So saying that to say, when we got in situations and we're wondering why we're stuck in them, we're wondering why we can't survive them, we're wondering why trauma and pain is sticking or staying with us, many times it is because we breathed in an experience. Hi, peace. Agassi Curry, thank you. And Rachel Bryant Lundy is on. Thank you all so much for joining. But there was a time when you took in that moment and you haven't ever released it. And of course, life is life, so you would take on a number of moments at any time. When you experience trauma, when you experience pain, frustration, disappointment, anything that brings you down into a lower level of vibration, a lower level of operation, you are trapped there. Anytime you think back on that, anytime you reflect on that, and you still feel that, you are consistently trapping, you are further trapping yourself there. Stay with me. I know I'm saying a lot, but I want to get us to this whole breathing point, and breathing being healing, right? So, breathing is a sign that you're alive and you're fine. This is why we stop breathing when we're afraid. This is why we stop breathing when we're in pain. This is why we stop breathing when we have anxiety or we have anger or so, because we don't feel alive or fine. Breathing is a sign that you're alive and you're fine. And when we don't feel that, we will stop that involuntarily. And we will go into survival breathing, meaning I'm here, but I am not well. Those are two different types of breathing. I'm here, but I'm not well. Okay, so here's the next thing. What I want us to do is when we're going back and we're evaluating all that we've been through, the things that have broken us down, the things that have made us less than our greatest selves, I want us to go back on where and when did I stop breathing. It's so funny because I was having so much stress last week, hence my mommy runaway. I was having so much stress last week that I literally had the thought that I cannot wait to exhale. And it was like a moment of just, I can't wait until life is at peace. I can't wait until I'm not worried. I just can't wait until I can just, and it made me think like, man, that breathing thing is a big deal. Here's the next thing. I have that thought, master manifestors. I have that thought. I go in my room. Mind you, my Pandora is playing all loud on my TV. I'm getting ready for work. I have that thought, and then everyone falls in love sometimes. That's what's on when I literally just have that thought. But there comes a time when you will exhale. Isn't that crazy? So listen, I could go on and on with the crazy synchronicities of my life. But the point is, the movie, the thought, the idea around waiting to exhale in itself is highlighting the desire to have peace. The desire, it means that if I'm waiting to exhale, I am caught up in a tension of space within myself. Thank you. Look at y'all saying I can sing. Listen, don't get me started. But you're getting caught up in a place of tension and pain, and you're waiting for peace. You're waiting for assurance, and the peace and the assurance and the peace and the healing is in your breathing. Oh my gosh, are you saying, Mama Harmony, that we can change our level of pain by changing the level of breathing that we're doing? Not just physically. Listen, I'm saying that naturally it happens physically. But we can emotionally and intentionally, spiritually, put a practice in place for breathing through fear, breathing through frustration, breathing through worry in a way that it heals us and elevates us. Think about when you hit your toe. For me now, it's these knees, child. It's these knees. Bump that knee up against something in the right place. And the first thing, but literally, the first thing that comes to my mind anytime I am experiencing pain now is to breathe. Again, as a doula, again, as a woman who has given birth, done it naturally 3 times. And just being able to, I swear it cleanses everything right away. And look, before my daughter got her nose piercing, the guy that was piercing her nose said, I was just like, daughter, as we were in the line, don't forget to breathe. Remember that the more afraid you are, the more anxious you are, the more soon as you start to hold the negative feelings, let them go. That's what I mean by breathing. As soon as you start to catch a negative feeling, let it go. That's what I want us to think of when we think about breathing. The releasing of negativity, the releasing of negative feeling. Your body is a home and a house. Recently, I had a number, actually, there's this new thing on like yoga being demonic. And there's people saying, oh, I don't do yoga, it's demonic, it's demonic. All types of things people say. We don't, tarot cards, and there's a lot of things people attach negative energy to. And this is what I want to say, because it's going to relate to our breathing. There's a lot of people in the Christian or religious world, and they say, hey, I don't care. I don't know, but you may ask them about practices of spirituality outside of what they're familiar with. And they'll be like, oh, no. All I know is my church and my Bible, right? My church and my Bible. And you may have people that say, oh, I don't look at tarot cards or all types. Listen, culturally, culturally for people of melanin, we have been, there have been a number of things we've connected spirituality to. They've done sacrificial animals and the rolling of bones and the reading of, things that are considered taboo, bizarre, and savage and spooky were spiritual practices of our ancestors. Listen, this is what I want to say about the house, right? This being your house. What I say to all of that is, the Creator is so big and so grand that you can use tools that would allow you to experience the creator, just as you don't need a tool to experience the creator because you are one, yin yang, right? However, the creator is not the tool. It's not the pen. You can give me a pen that has significance. You know, people have things they call lucky, that, hey, this pen belonged, this is the pen that Maya Angelou used when she wrote her poetry. I would love this pen. And you know what I'm saying? Yeah, let me use this pen. Because guess what? The power of the pen is the significance that I put in it as a spiritual being and as a reflection of creation. So when people say that there's anything that you can touch or be around, now I do believe that things carry energy and you can cleanse things to keep energy pure. We are all energy. However, allowing demonic or negative things into your body or into your spirit is not something, meaning like, listen, I don't think you can confine the creator to a pew, a church pew, or a book. Use them, respect them, but confine creation, I don't think so. Confine creation to a card, I'm not, or a yoga pose. You're giving these things more power than the creator above all. What I'm saying is, nothing can survive inside of no demonic energy can survive inside of a home that cannot house negative energy. Meaning, I don't care if, for example, because I don't want to get far off. We got a lot to get into today. For example, the serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer, he lived in an apartment complex with hundreds of other people. But he killed, murdered, tortured many souls in the apartment complex that he lived in. When he was apprehended and they removed all of the remains and the horrific findings came about, they decided to tear down Jeffrey Dahmer's building. Was the building a demonic building? Was the building a building of low vibration? Someone of low vibration did create an energy, and a space of low vibration in the building. They destroyed the building. I'm not saying I'm against it. Listen, they destroyed the building. They then wanted to build a playground on the grounds in order to like brighten back up the energy. But they found that many people did not want to bring their children to the playground because it was the grounds of such horrific acts. They then decided to just create a memorial there for all the victims that had been murdered by Jeffrey Dahmer there. Okay, that was a lot. What am I talking about? What I'm saying is the energy didn't matter. I'm not going to say the energy didn't matter. The building itself being destroyed didn't change the energy. Building a playground on the grounds where there was such a horrific actions didn't change the energy. What changed the energy was the mindset of how the space should be utilized in a harmonious way. Once it was turned into a memorial for the victims, it seemed appropriate. And it also did not seem to possess such a scary or this apprehension about it. Oh my gosh. All I'm saying is, what the space you keep decides and dictate what stays inside of you. There is not a thing you can do, that keeps positivity inside of you. There's not a thing you can do that keeps negativity inside of you. There is a space you have to be. There's an energy you have to be in order to have things thrive inside of you. So negativity thrives in a negative space. Positivity thrives in a positive space. And when you appropriately put things where they belong, you are a space of order, a space of Ma'at. When you breathe, okay, bringing it all back to there. When you breathe, are releasing and expelling energy that does not, this is why we breathe in and breathe out, because you are releasing negative energy and you are bringing in a positive energy. This is the physical operation of breathing. Okay, now we're going to get into the spiritual stuff. Now we're going to get into the healing business of it. Breathing is a sign that you're alive and you're fine. Breathing is a sign that you're alive and you're fine. What breathing does, and I use the examples of my daughter and how I was just like, boop, breathe, because you held a negative energy before you even experienced it. And then after you experienced it, you kept it inside of you and you didn't release it. Breathing is when I say breathing is a sign that we're alive and we're fine. Breathing helps you feel. My boo knew always, my bestie knew, she always highlights to everyone, one of her favorite Harmony originals is you have to feel it to heal it. And a lot of times we don't want to feel. Now think about when you don't want to taste something nasty. Don't you? Like if you hold your breath, do you see how you can't taste it? Or if you smell something stink. If you hold your breath, you can't take it in. What we do a lot of times is if we don't want something, we stop breathing. We stop ourselves from taking it in. That is a defense mechanism and it's great for survival. But once we're ready to elevate, once we're ready to thrive, once we're ready to grow, we must be open to feeling. I zoned out. I shut down because I didn't want to feel. I didn't, when I got that bad news, when that person did that thing to me, when I had that experience, I stopped breathing. When we reflect, go back on when you stopped breathing. I stopped. But now that I'm healing, I need to breathe because I need to be feeling. I cannot appropriately expel things that are trapped inside of me if I don't feel it. This, y'all know I'm going to do a doula analogy. You're not going to push anything out without feeling it. And if you want to just keep, I can't tell you how many times in labor and delivery does a woman, including myself when I was there, does want to go back to the day before because I don't want to feel this. I would rather keep this thing up inside of me at this point because of what I'm feeling right now. But trust me, if you're going to get it out, and those of you can relate to having like an upset stomach, and you know, like when your stomach is really bothered, oh my gosh, and you just, what they call it, the BGs, you got the BGs, and it is just very painful. But the point, when I am feeling those things, the point is that if you go through what it feels like, because once you get it out, you won't feel it anymore, but you're not going to get whatever your body is trying to release without you feeling what you're feeling right now. Breathing helps you feel. It changes the intensity of things that you have predetermined for yourself because it puts you, it's a stabilizer. It brings you present. But it also changes how you feel things. Breathing changes how you feel things. When I'm at work and I'm stressed and the work is mounting, because they do be working, your girl. The work is mounting. I can stay in this ball. I can be, listen, up at work, I'm always in like crisscross applesauce in my office chair, if depending on how I'm dressed. But crisscross applesauce, I'm like in a little knot. I'm, you know, your girl's tiny, so I can be in this little ball at work, just working on the phone, doing what I gotta do, and I can feel a great deal of stress inside of me. When I don't know how many times I work, and now we're in a shared workspace, so I can hear it all the time when this is how I know that someone in my space, or this is me, myself, feeling overwhelmed and releasing that feeling in the air. Nonverbal releasing of that feeling and of that stress. Breathing changes how you feel. When you are going back and you are in that place as your younger self, when you are going back and you are thinking about that divorce, when you're going back and you're thinking about that violation, or you're thinking about that embarrassing or humiliating or extreme moment, I want you to breathe. I want you to remember that breathing is a sign that you're alive and you're fine. And this is going to be what helps you get out, reverse what you did when you were there, which was hold. I don't want to feel this. Hold. I don't want to think this. Hold. I don't want to experience this. Hold. When I'm in a safe place to feel, breathing must be a part of my healing. Watch how I release my fear. Watch how I release my anxiety. Watch how I release my pressure through breath. It changes how I'm feeling. It doesn't change what you're feeling. Don't go and say, Mama Harmony, I'm still sad. Mama Harmony, I'm still worried. I'm still overwhelmed. It doesn't change what you're feeling. The process is the process, boo. There's no getting around that, okay? If you want to grow, you know what I'm saying? We got to grow through it. It doesn't change what you feel, but it changes how you feel. This is what I was saying with my daughter. Yeah, you get that big old thick needle through your nose, it's going to hurt like a bee. But here's the thing, if you breathe, it's going to move you through it. You don't have to get stuck in what you're about to experience. This is the whole point of breathing and its importance with labor and delivery. Breathing with trauma. Hey, I've recently even been looking into tantric breathing when it comes to sensuality. And like people are doing whole things off breaths. Listen, powerful, powerful. Feel it. Breathing changes how you feel things. So we did feel. This is where we're going because we're almost going to be out of this soon. We're doing feel, deal, and heal, okay? When it comes to breathing and reflecting on the breathing, when we're caught in a situation, when we're needing to heal, when we're needing to elevate, when we're needing to get out of a low vibration and transition into a higher one, we're going to go to breathing because it helps how we feel, deal, and heal. How we did feel. Breathing helps you deal. Remember what I said, it doesn't change what you're feeling, but how you're feeling it. Breathing puts you in a place of stabilization. Breathing is a stabilizer. And it puts you in a place of life. Again, when the ambulance comes or the paramedic comes to a extremely emergent situation, an urgent, critical situation, the first thing they're going to do when you come into that hospital or when they come to where you are or a person, I don't want to say you, we watch our tongue, right? The first thing they're going to do is put oxygen on your mask. They don't even always know what's wrong with you right away. It may not be your heart. It could be anything. Why do they give you oxygen right away? Because how you breathe is going to reveal how you deal. Because they gave you oxygen, they can assess the severity of your condition based on how you conform or how you respond to extra oxygen. I can tell how severely hurt you are if I give life to you. If I give life to you, I was about to say H2O, not water, air. If I give life to you and you still don't respond, because I can tell how you're dealing with what you're going through. This is how important breathing and expressing and releasing is to your healing journey and your process. So, if you come and you say, sis, mama, I am distraught. Watching my tongue. These are examples. I just can't. I have reached I want you to breathe. Because then once you bring in life and you express, I can tell a lot of healers, even though a lot of healers are big on chakra alignment, a lot of times not only are we checking your alignment, we're checking where energy is stuck. I know if you've gone to a healer before on any level, whether it is medicinal healing, Reiki healing, spiritual healing, whatever, if you've gone to any type of healer and they tell you that energy is stuck in a place, they are not only as they're assessing what you kept. Anytime you hear stuck energy, it correlates. It means trapped trauma. Period. I have stuck energy, meaning trapped trauma, and I want you to breathe. You will also hear healers say, "Let me hear you scream." They want to hear the flow. Have you ever gotten close to someone to hear their breathing? You know that when it's something is going on, something is changing within you. Listen, they want to hear you yell, they want to hear you cry. What they want is for you to give more energy and air to your trauma in order to express it. How you deal. The air that you take in and the flow that releases it lets me know how you are dealing. When we do not speak, this is the throat chakra. When we do not speak up for ourselves, when we do not speak truth, when we do not use our gifts and talents, and we do not vocalize our needs, we have trauma trapped. This is also not telling. This is also keeping inside. This is also not, listen, not being heard because we're not speaking up, whether it's fear, rejection, whatever we went through, okay? Whatever we went through. There are a number of reasons why we haven't told our stories and can't. Have you ever been to a point where they call getting choked up? When you go to talk about something. I was just in the car driving here to my runaway, and I was a song came on and it made me think about my baby brother Victorious. And I couldn't even finish the song because I got stuck. Stuck energy, trapped trauma. There are so many parts of his murder and that experience that are still trapped. And whenever I visit that situation, whenever I attempt to work through that, I can choose to just stop thinking about it. This is what I feel when I can't keep going. Is trauma attempting to release itself. You see what I'm saying? Even as I'm touching it, it's getting, listen, trauma is attempting to release itself. Help it. Breathe. Breathe. But are you breathing though? Are you breathing though? I want you to know, when did you stop breathing? At what point in your day today did you stop breathing? You walked down, you got overwhelmed with your duties. Someone said or did something that disappointed you. A plan didn't go the way you wanted it to go. You just feel overwhelmed with thought and anxiety about the upcoming week. When in this day did you stop breathing? Because I guarantee you that there is a traumatic connection to what you're feeling, that is trying to release itself, and you're not giving it enough breath. You're giving yourself enough air to survive. But you can give yourself air to thrive, to float, to fly, to soar. When I'm starting to feel, and then I need to deal, I need to breathe. Air changes how you breathe. Lastly, breathing changes how you heal. Breathing changes how you heal. One of the most recuperative times of your entire day or existence is when you are sleeping. One of the most recuperative times, meaning that you rejuvenate and you restore the most, during the time that you are sleeping. And what do you do when you're sleeping that you don't do when you're awake? Heavy breathing. Bringing oxygen into your body heals any type of damage or deficiency inside of your body. I'm talking about a physical reaction, physical scientific reaction, spiritually. When you take a deep breath and you bring oxygen into your situation, you are healing any damage or deficiency inside of your soul. When you bring oxygen, they tell you all the time, breathe, 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 breathe. Why? Because you're bleeding. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Why? Because your blood pressure is going down, your heart rate is lowering. Why do they tell you to breathe when things are beginning to go south? When things are beginning to be deficient? It is because breathing is a healing, restorative state, or healing restorative action. That's what I'm saying. That will bring you to a restorative state. If you think about someone, again, during the most restorative time of existence, which is sleep, and you think about how deep your breaths come when you're asleep, how slowed your breaths are when you're sleeping, how shallow and intentional it seems that your breathing reaches a state of relax. It's a state of relaxation, but you're breathing deeper. Did you think of that? Because breathing heals. Oxygen repairs. This is why people live longer that are surrounded by plants. People that spend time in nature have less stress, lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol, lower anxiety. People that go outside, people that touch their feet, and it's the oxygen. Listen, it's nature and it's creation, but it is oxygen. Those that believe all different sciences and ways of creation, we know that we are not alive until we breathe. They say the Creator breathed life. Breathe life. When a baby is born, we know that the baby is fine because we need to hear the crying means the baby's breathing. We need to hear breath. We need to breathe. It is healing. It is healing. We know that those of us that are spiritually elevated or inclined, we know that our praise and worship is greatly connected to our breathing. But think about when someone can't breathe, for those old school people of us. When someone is choking, what is the first thing we ask them to do? Put your hands up. I know I always am telling my children. They do it now without even thinking. Put your hands up. It works because it opens up your breathing. You were restricted. Breathe. It's healing you. But putting our hands up opens us up in our... So if praise and worship, listen, you know the hands go up when you're giving things. A lot of yoga poses have you go into that type of pose for optimal receptivity of energy. Okay? There's a... when I was pregnant, it happens a lot now too, but when I was pregnant, I would get this choking in the middle of the night. Some people might get it like just literally choking. It was a lot of acid reflux. And I had to do some research on why am I feeling like I'm dying every other night. I mean, choking to the point like I can't stop coughing, tears are rolling, I can barely breathe, I'm catching my breath, like not regular choking. What it was acid reflux. But what was happening was that stomach acids would sometimes get into, they could get into my diaphragm and they could irritate my breathing. Also, if something is stuck somewhere in your throat, that there are gill-like passages for your in your neck and in your system of respiration, okay? Your respiratory system that contribute to breathing. Because these gill-like, meaning they open and close when you breathe to help you breathe along the side of your respiratory system. If something is stuck somewhere, they close. I'm about to show y'all how to get rid of that too. Life hack. They close because if there's a particle stuck somewhere in your throat, your body automatically shuts down these gill-like breathing assisters to keep anything from getting stuck there. It could really literally just be like saliva. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be a particle, but your body doesn't know that. All your body knows is that something is stuck in a place. You heard things going down the wrong pipe. Something is stuck in a place that's not safe. And so these gill-like breathing assisters stop. They close on you. Y'all, scientifically, this is my nerd talk. This is what's happening when you're choking like that at night. And tell you, you don't, all the coughing that we do and we try to drink, but it's a different type of choke I'm talking about. Can't breathe. What they tell you to do is like press under the side of your throat. And I do it, it works like magic now. And it will open those receptors again for you. But why you're choking like that is because those gill-like sisters have closed. They don't want anything stuck in them. But you know you're not choking on anything but air, spit, or whatever, particle, whatever. So you can open it by putting pressure there that says, hey, but listen, all of that to say, when the way I'm taking in air stops, it stops me. It stops me from healing. It stops me from dealing. It stops me from feeling. When someone dies, they are dead at the last breath. It stops you. Not being able to breathe is what stops you. Doing what's necessary to restore your flow is what keeps you alive. Breathing is a stabilizer. Breathing is a sustainer. When you are going throughout your trauma, when you are facing, please do not underestimate the power of your ability to restore breathing to your situation. Please do not underestimate your power of being able to restore thinking and centeredness via the oxygen you bring into yourself. Breathe. Breathe. Reflect on the breathing. Oh, but I was so hurt. Oh, but did you stop breathing? Because if you did, in order for us to get to the next place, we have to bring restoration through that. Oh, but I don't know, and breathe. Reflect on your breath. If you're telling me you're stuck, if you're telling me you're broken, if you're telling me you're hurting, if you're telling me you can't, if you're telling me that you're not, there's no motion and there's stagnation, I'm asking you to reflect on the breath. Where did you stop breathing? When did you stop breathing? And can we get you back to a place of intentional, deep, restorative breathing? Reflect on the breath. It is vital to your healing and your development and your growth. Remember that breathing affects how we feel, deal, and heal. I appreciate you being a part of my Mommy Runaway, a part of my Moment of Harmony. I love you all so much. I hope that you have an extraordinary week. I am going to be intentional about that. I hope that you are intentional about that. I hope you take good care of yourself, give good love and nurturing to yourself, and show enough, go on and love up on somebody else, okay? Y'all have a wonderful rest of your week. I will see you next week for another Moment of Harmony.